Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor and glory be to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. And I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone of the world. Blessings to the hopeful elect out there teaching this word in all sincerity and truth, in the hopes that we may edify and feed the lambs of Yahushai, especially in these last days, just around the corner from Jacob's trouble being in full swing, when all hell was about to break loose. And it's pretty much going to be like a quick news update. And as you can see in the news, or if we've been watching in the news of late, they're talking about a government shutdown over there in the US. And I got this article from Reuters. It's put up September 25th 2023. Okay. And it says the US government shutdown, what is it and who would be affected? Alright, so there's talks of a government shutdown, alright, starting October the 1st. And October, that's the same month where the wicked elite, they have their high holiday known as Halloween. And that month, it could very well end up being a very, very dark year, or a dark month for the year. Especially since they celebrate Halloween during that month. And also you have Friday the 13th, alright, within that month as well, which this article is going to go into how the federal court systems are going to shut down should this government shutdown go ahead. Alright, and it's got a list of other things that are going to be affected: transportation, foreign affairs, Congress, national parks, natural resources, museums, science, health. Health is a big thing. All right. So let's go ahead and read. It says September 25th, U.S. government services would be disrupted and hundreds of thousands of federal workers furloughed without pay. All right. If Congress fails to provide funding for the fiscal year starting October the 1st. Workers deemed essential would remain on a job, but without pay. And what do you think? How moralized or how demoralized do you think the workers are going to be? For those so-called essential workers to be turning up to work and not getting paid for it. All right. So this government shutdown thing, which is going to kick off in October the 1st this year, it could really, it could very well spiral into something known as anarchy. All right. And we hope that that's exactly what happens. And the word anarchy, let's get the word anarchy. It says a state of disorder due to absence of non-recognition of authority or other controlling systems. All right. And that's basically what? A government shutdown. All right. Due to the absence or non-recognition of authority. And when you read about the definition of the very word anarchy, it just reminds you of 2nd Ezra's, the 15th chapter. All right, which I'm going to read. And I'm going to start from verse 14. And it says, 2nd Ezra 15 and 14, this is, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword, and woe means destruction, by the way, okay? Woe means destruction. And so for all of you people out there talking about the good book, you don't even seem to understand that the word woe is in the scriptures, which means destruction, okay? And there's going to be a lot of death and destruction in these coming days, man. And it could very well happen, closing out this year, leading into next year. And we actually hope that next year is the year that we actually get out of captivity, man, where Yahushua comes back, okay? Esau, he's gonna come with great wrath because he knows that he has but a short time. That's Revelation 12 and 12. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's exactly what's going to be happening out here. It's going to go from protest to people just, cracking each other over the head. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And that's what? Anarchy. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? That's complete anarchy right there. What's the definition of anarchy? A state of disorder. Okay, due to absence or non-recognition of authority. They're not going to regard their kings nor princes. All right? Or other controlling systems. All right? Point number 2, it says the organization of society on the basis of voluntary cooperation without political institutions or hierarchical government, anarchism. All right? What did it say? On the basis of voluntary cooperation. What did it just say in that article? Is this not voluntary cooperation? All right. It said, for the fiscal year starting October the 1st, workers deemed essential would remain on the job but without pay. That's basically working voluntarily. All right. That's basically anarchy. And they're telling you that it's going to be anarchy, man. All right. Remember Biden, he kept talking about a dark winter. So we're about to enter into winter yet again. Okay. And Biden was talking about a dark winter. I remember just before he got elected, he was talking about a dark winter. All right. So we can't be ignorant of these things. The scriptures speak about not being ignorant of Satan's devices. Remember, Esau wants all out chaos so he can come forth with the order. That's order ab chaos, man. All right. Let me go ahead and get you this scripture. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Unless Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we're not supposed to be ignorant of the devices of Satan, man. Okay, meaning what? That they want order ab chaos in dealing with, them establishing their new world order agenda. Okay, because with the chaos out there in the streets, with anarchy, they can respond. Introduce martial law, introduce curfews. All right, introduce the chip. All right, off the back of chaos, off the back of calamities, man. Because we're just sitting here waiting for a major crisis to take place that's going to be engineered by Esau, all right, which is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And in a response, they're going to come through with that order, and they're going to order people out here to pretty much dance to the devil's tune. All right, and now I think it's a good time to bring out Revelation 12 and 12. All right, and it reads, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath. And see, we can't be ignorant of the secret counsel of the wicked, man. All right, remember the scriptures speak about in Micah the 2nd chapter that he can't sleep unless he's done wickedness. All right, woe unto them that devise iniquity on their beds when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. All right, so this devil is about to come down having great wrath because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right, so they can kick this shit into overdrive at any point, and we're just sitting here waiting. As we're prophesying, we're waiting for this devil to make a move. All right, because as soon as he makes that move and pushes out and orders everyone out here to be chipped, that's when the Most High is gonna intervene. All right, and send Yahweh Shai here to gather up his elect after we go through the hour of temptation spoken of in Revelation 3 and 10. Now, what I want to do is I want to play you a little quick clip. It says what happens during a government shutdown. This is from the Washington Post, as you can see. And I'm going to play you the early part of this clip right here so you can see for yourself exactly what happens during a government shutdown.
The threat of a government shutdown may sound so routine, it's easy to forget what that actually involves. Here's a refresher. First off, Congress needs to pass 12 appropriation bills annually to give government agencies a budget for the coming fiscal year. If some of those bills pass, but others don't, by the deadline, the government enters a partial shutdown. If all 12 appropriations bills aren't passed, the country goes into a full shutdown. And with any shutdown, expect disruptions. Federal workers are
You hear that? And with any shutdown, expect disruptions. But what kind of disruptions? Okay. The SEC, the CDC, okay, your police force, your hospitals, okay, your childcare workers, and so on and so forth. All these things expect there to be disruptions, man. All right, and if childcare is affected, then how are these people going to go to work? Okay, who's going to look after their children, so on and so forth. So these things have knock-on effects, man. And the people, when they got nothing to lose, they lose it. When their backs are against the wall, they're just going to lose it.
Load. Congress members, the president, and Supreme Court justices.
Which goes into what? Anarchy. Okay. Nope.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. Norton helps you keep track of your financial health. If your identity is stolen,
and travel can be affected.
Yeah, stupid commercials. Anyway, let's just keep playing.
National park visitor centers close and the ground are stalled. Passport processing, food inspection programs, and small business loans also see delays.
You see that, man? So you see the amount of disruptions that can come from this government shutdown? Okay. Federal workers being furloughed. Benefits, they said it's going to continue, but the passport processing, food inspection, small business loans are going to be delayed. That's going to have a knock-on effect. These people are going to become more and more frustrated. All right, and the scriptures speak about because of the iniquity that the love of many shall wax cold, because iniquity shall abound. You know, so these people, they're gonna get desperate, man. All right, and Esau he's constantly, bending these people to the point where they're gonna snap. You know, and it's just a moment. It's just a matter of time before they start to snap.
And travel can be affected. National park visitor centers close.
Yeah, people not being able to get from one place to another. You can see that how that's gonna have a major knock-on effect. People being able to get from one place, one part of the city to the other. Okay, I don't know, roads being congested and so on and so forth. People's cars, they ain't got the means to travel there, or their cars breaking down, and all kinds of things can be affected from this, man. And the things that people take for granted, these are the things that are going to be the most affected, man, if a government does have a shutdown. But what I want to do is I want to pay your attention to or turn your attention to what Joe Biden said about you Jakes, man. And he said that you Jakes are going to suffer if the government shut down. So what's this telling you? This is GB News. All right, and as you can see in the title, it says black people will suffer if the government shuts down. All right, and that's pretty much Jacob's trouble, man. All right, let me go ahead and play you this now. All right, so listen up.
$13 billion in investment from the state government. Just a few months ago, the Speaker of the House and I agreed to spending levels for the government. We were up right to the very edge, almost reneged on our debt, and that we're going to fund essential priorities and still cut the deficit by $1 trillion over the next decade. Now a small group of extreme House Republicans, they don't want to live up to that deal, and everyone in America...
I'm saying it doesn't matter who you vote for, whether you vote for Democrats or Republicans, they're still telling you that you're fucked. All right, and this is why you stupid individuals that want to go out there, you want to line up, you want to vote, you want to cast your vote in, and you think it's going to make a fucking difference. It don't make a difference, man. And furthermore, voting is off, okay? That's in Deuteronomy 17 and 15. We ain't even supposed to be fucking voting, man. All right, it says, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15, it says, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord, Yahweh thy power, shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. And that's what you Israelites do. You go out there, you cast your votes, and you say, oh, I believe Biden gonna change my life, or Trump, or, or Obama. What the hell did Obama do for you niggas, man? All right, but then you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Revelation 13, was it verse 11? Okay, which says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That dragon goes into what? Them draconian measures. That's Esau right there. All right, and a lamb is a nature of a lamb is to be docile, right? Them two horns like a lamb spake as a dragon. Them two horns will be what? Your Republicans and your Democrats. All right, even going back to the time of the Romans, you had what? The plebeians and the patricians. The patricians were for the somewhat ruling class or upper class, and then the plebeians were for more like the commoners. And you got the same thing with the Republicans and the Democrats. But guess what? It's two horns of the same beast, and they're still speaking draconian measures. They're still decreeing unrighteous decrees. And that's why the scriptures tell you, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, man. All right. In fact, let's look up the word draconian. Okay, because there's gonna be some real draconian measures in these coming months. All right. The word draconian says of laws of their application excessively harsh and severe. Excessively harsh and severe. Okay. What does the word draconian mean in English? Rigorous, unusually severe or cruel. All right. So you Jakes are about to see the unusually cruelness, all right, of Esau, because right now Esau, he's showing the horns, but he ain't showing it to how he's about to show it. And that's why we speak about the time that's coming is going to be a time like no other since there was a nation. Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So the time of trouble that's coming is incomparable to any other time that's ever been recorded on the earth since there was a nation. All right. You're dealing with the first death, the flood of Noah. You're dealing with the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not going to have anything in comparison to what's coming. Okay. You're dealing with the second death. You're dealing with the time of Jacob's trouble, man, where this devil's going to go all out. Because remember, this devil, he knows that he has but a short time. He wants to chip these people. And also, I was watching Elder Apostle Gabar's video earlier. He said they want to do the culling. Remember, they had the Georgia Guidestones where they said they want to maintain human population to around 500 million. Now, there's around, 7+ billion people on the face of the earth today. But they had the Georgia Guidestones erected at one time before it got destroyed. They said they want to maintain human population to around 500 million. And this ain't no joke. All right? So they want to do a lot of murdering. They want to do a lot of people, putting people down. Okay? And they're sharpening that sword as I speak. And this is why we have to, the scriptures speak about wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength for salvation. Because listen to what Biden's about to tell you.
I'll live up to that deal, and everyone in America could be faced with paying the price for that.
Everyone in America could be faced for paying the price for this whole government shutdown, right? And they're talking about he's blaming the Republicans. The Republicans blame the Democrats, and so on and so forth, and around and around and around we go. But it don't make a difference. It's never going to change, because this is the devil that you're dealing with. All right. Scripture says, "Never trust thine enemy." Sirach 12:10. Okay.
We made a deal. We shook hands. We said this is what we're going to do, and now they're reneging on the deal, which is not much of a surprise these days.
Well, reneging on the deal. This is just a show, man. They want you idiots to go out there and believe that they want to make change for you, whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats that are in power. But again, it's the two horns of the same beast. All right, and they manipulate your empty adoration for them. All right, in order to serve their own wicked purpose and wicked agendas, which is to spread nothing but chaos out here. Okay, because they have you people running from pillar to post, believing in the devil, believing that this person's going to come along and change your life, believing the next person's going to come and change your life. You go out there and you vote for them, but nothing ever changes, man. And that shows you how stupid you people are, man. All right, you stupid, you don't think. And that's why the scripture says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You don't have the wisdom and knowledge that's going to keep you stable in these times. All right. And ultimately, this is why the scripture says they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Let's go back to 2 Ezra 15 and 17. And not to mention, you got the border patrol and all of that with the immigrants coming up from the southern border, trying to get into America, climbing over barbed wire, and all kinds of stuff, man. All right, and who do you think's putting them up to that? They said that they got the cartel is in control of bringing these people to the border and so on and so forth. They decide when the people come to the border or when they don't. But who do you think's in control of all of that? Esau is behind the scenes because he wants order through chaos, anarchy. Okay, remember this devil, this man is the devil. He's deceitful, man. Okay, deception, right? Deception is a very, very big part of his way of life. All right. In fact, let me go ahead and get Psalms 58 and 3. All right. And it tells you the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, Malachi 1 and 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb, and that's why we don't trust them. Okay. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. This is what they do. They speak lies, man. But here it is, you Jake, you still want to believe in this devil. Well, let's hear about what the devil is going to tell about you, or tell you that you so-called black people are about to go through.
That's what we're going to do, and now they're reneging on the deal, which is not much of a surprise these days. And the black community in particular is going to suffer if that occurs. For example,
You hear what he just said? Let me pull that back.
In particular is going to suffer if that occurs. Not much of a surprise these days. And the black community in particular is going to suffer if that occurs.
The black community in particular, yeah, you so-called Negroes, man. I'm African American. You so-called Negroes. They're telling you that you're going to particularly suffer. Okay? If this government shutdown occurs. So they're telling you, that's Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, you heard it from his mouth. That's Jacob's trouble.
For example, shutdown is going to risk nutrition assistance to nearly 7 million moms and children. It's going to disproportionately affect black families. The Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Malnutrition disproportionately affect Jake families, black families, right? So-called black families, man. So this devil is showing you his horns, and you see how much care he's showing the Northern Kingdom, all right, that are trying to get into the southern border of America. You see how much care he's showing them. How much fucking care do you think he's gonna show you so-called Negroes, man? There was a time when he was whipping the flesh off of our backs in slavery, hardcore slavery. Had us picking cotton from sundown to from sun up to sundown, man. You know? But you think that this devil's got your best interests at heart. No, he's sharpening the sword. Remember, this is his last fucking hoorah. Because his kingdom's going down. He's moving with great wrath because he knows that he has but a short time. And they're telling you that you so-called blacks are going to suffer the most. Okay, which is going to lead to what? A state of disorder due to absence or non-recognition of authority or other controlling systems. Anarchy. All right, that's the time of Jacob's trouble that's coming. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 30. We have to read this one. In 7, it says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble." Yeah, you so-called blacks, considerably in particular, are going to suffer the most, right? But he shall be saved out of it, and that's the elect. See, we're only out here for the elect. We're only putting up these videos, to feed the flock, the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And we're telling you that the day is great, the day that's coming is great, so that none is like it. It's incomparable to any other time that ever has been on the earth. It's even the time of Jacob's trouble, man. All right? But we have hope. Okay? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Okay? So let's go ahead back into this article here. And this is back in that Reuters article. And you can see it says military. 2 million U.S. military personnel will remain at their posts. But roughly half of the Pentagon's 800,000 civilian employees would be furloughed. Okay, complete shutdown. Law enforcement's going to be affected. Okay. Most civil litigation will be postponed. It is unclear when the government's landmark Google antitrust lawsuit will be disrupted. Aid to local police departments and other grants could be delayed. See? Look at that. Here's the one. Federal courts. The federal courts have enough money to stay open until at least October the 13th. Now, when you go to October the 13th this year, that falls on a Friday. Then you have Friday the 13th. So Esau knows what he's doing, man. Okay? They're telling you that you so-called blacks are going to suffer. They're telling you, Biden was telling you it's going to be a dark winter. All right, October is the month of so-called Halloween. Okay, and they're pretty much telling you about this government shutdown, which is going to have implications and knock-on effects to all these things that you're seeing me read here, whether it be military, law enforcement, federal courts, Congress, transportation. We spoke about that. Foreign affairs. Okay. National parks, resources, museums, science, health, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will continue to monitor disease outbreaks, though other public health activities could suffer, as more than half the agency's workers would be furloughed. You see this, man? All right? And you got a lot of Jake out there that are on poor diets, that rely on Esau's drug, his drugs to get by, man. Okay? So that's going to cause a panic and civil unrest. People looting pharmaceutical drug stores and so on and so forth. You see it, man, in these post-apocalyptic programs. All right? Like in The Purge. All right? People, they were raiding there's one, I think it was the first Purge, and you saw them raid the pharmaceutical store in order to get, this woman had to get what she needed to get, for one of her loved ones. All right, but that's when people go crazy, man. Economic data, Social Security, Medicare, and other benefits. Food aid through Supplemental Nutrition and Assistance Program would go out as normal, but for October, but could be affected after that, he said. So that even after that, they're saying it could have long-term effects. Tax collection, disaster response. Listen to this. All right. FEMA, man, would risk running out of funds for disaster relief and long-term recovery projects, man. They are looking to go all out. Okay? This is big fucking news, man. All right? Now, I don't know if you're sitting there, you're thinking, well, that's not really that deep. Listen, this is big news. Come on, they're talking about disaster response. Now, this is a big one because, Esau, remember, we can't be ignorant of Satan's devices. Remember we spoke about Order Web KO? Esau, we're waiting for the next big disaster. Okay, and that's what Esau's going to manipulate, man, to, through the next big disaster to push out his NWO, man. And then we got waterways, childcare, small business support, agriculture, labor, the White House, mail delivery. Yeah, you're not getting your mail on time, so on and so forth. All right. So yeah, man. Hey, it's going down, bro. This is going down. All right, and this is why we have to watch as well as pray. Like Yahweh Shai said that we enter not into temptation. Okay, we got to be circumspect, man. Let me go ahead and close out on that scripture. It's Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Wherefore be you not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. You see that? So we have to be circumspect, meaning spiritually looking around us at all times, man. Seeing what's going on, watching these alternative news media platforms. Okay, I see Patrick Humphrey. He did a video talking about how they're deploying troops. Biden's deploying these troops, military troops, boots on the ground in certain states. That's martial law. Okay, which the word martial means warlike, man. So Esau is sharpening that sword. He's letting you know what he's about to do. And Elder Apostle Gabar did a very edifying lesson on that earlier as well that I watched this morning in response to Patrick Humphrey talking about the martial law troops being on the ground. All right, so that sword is being sharpened, so we have to be very, very careful in these last days. Now's the time, to really, really dig in spiritually and keep our eyes single, And in fact, let me go ahead and get you this scripture in Sirach chapter 14. All right, verse 2. It says, blessed is he whose conscience have not condemned him and who has not fallen from his hope in the Lord. See, this is not about having our conscience condemned, man. Like, we want to, go into this time knowing that we were doing the right thing and having a firm hope in salvation when Yahweh Shai comes back. We don't want to be double-minded. We don't want to be having our conscience condemned. That's not what we want. That's not a strong position to be in these last days. That's not wisdom and knowledge keeping us stable, man. No, this wisdom and knowledge is keeping us stable. All right, but if your conscience is condemned, all right, then pretty much that's not a good position to be in these last days. Okay, especially seeing as Esau is ramping things up and he's looking to roll out, man, hot and heavy on you so-called Negroes, starting with you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, you Israelites in general, man. Okay. So let's go back into 2nd Ezra 15. We can just finish off a couple verses here. We got down to verse 17. It says, and a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, straight lockdowns. Government checkpoints, especially when they push out that chip and they got these 15-minute cities set up. You ain't going to be able to go from one place to another. Like they show you in movies like Hunger Games or In Time with Justin Timberlake. All right, and you have things set up in districts, certain cities set up in different districts and zones and so on and so forth. It says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. So it's all because of that pride, man. These people, especially in these cities, man. I remember Elder Apostle Ramlab said these cities are going to become like death zones. And you can see it. You know, people living on top of each other, you know. When everyone loses it, when one man's invading another man's house because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, these people are going to be forced to defend themselves. There ain't going to be no emergency services coming out to aid you in that day. And especially you women, man. Fucking walking around proud, talking about you can do bad by yourself and you don't need a man. The Lord said you're going to be trodden down like the mire of the streets. That's in Micah 7 and 10. So, you carry on with all of that. Talking shit, right? Being in full of great pride. The Lord said, because of thy pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So there you go, you know. There's going to be a lack of availability of food and water out here, famine. Okay, the Lord is going to pretty much go all out in these last days. The king of terrors, man. You know, and this is going to serve, you best believe, it's going to serve to magnify the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And look, Biden even said it, man. He said, you know, especially you so-called, you blacks, you're going to suffer the most, man. All right, he done told you. They're telling you what they're planning to do. All right, so with that, man, you know, hey, that's why we got to be circumspect, man. Till the next time, I'm going to say shalom.